Hello, this is the final boss, and this is a game review of Windy Meadow. I don't think it has sound or music, so we'll see. Is my audio turned on? Am I just not hearing it? No, my audio's on. I think there's sound. But we'll jump on in, and hopefully my dulcet voice will soothe you. All right, so we see Aster's posture, so it kind of is giving me like a little site, hunt for field workers. House of Castles. This is smart. A way to give some exposition and some information about your world and your story before we jump in and spend a lot of time. So far, notice on the shining stream spring, but its water is delightfully cold and clear. I like it. All right, new story. Let's put to the tutorial first. It's very recommended. All right, sure. So I think the game did have a warning for, I think, some depression, alcoholism, some darker themes. So be prepared, but we will see what happens. I do wish there was at least a little bit of background music. Just play some on my piano. Alright, anyways. To continue, click the left mouse button anywhere within the constraints of the whiteboard. Okay. Usually get the game, but not always. If you skip anything by accident, use the mouse wheel to roll back. Okay, use the archive to reread the most recent text, but you can find it in the menu. So this is essentially a visual novel, I'm guessing. You make a choice based on your character. You'll see an example now. You won't move forward until you press an option with L and B. I see you have the choices listed in here. Look at their text highlight aligned to the right side of the screen. Same goes for their portraits. Your character will be presented on the left side of the screen. Okay. That's fine. I don't care. My name just became yellow. So you can see who I am. Oh, that's this is a nice feature. I should do this in my game that has some visual novel storytelling, choose your adventure elements. I think it's really smart that they have these pop-ups. That's a really good idea. Years passed, but so far being far away from home hasn't helped bury her regrets. I mean, good gracious. I feel you there. Nothing stops the seeping regret in our lives, does it? You can also point at other yellow words. Maybe you'll learn more about dragon bones and cities, major power, small. That's also smart, using keywords. Maybe you should learn more about Vates. I used to teach him how to handle a sword. He became local priest. He's a person I should thank for dragging me into this boring village. Description stays on the screen for longer than you'd like. Just press it with the LMB to close it. You're going to close the LMB. Okay. Your mouse is pointing at the buttons. Use the LMB. Will press them instead of progressing the game. Unless they're gray. Okay. Save menu. Okay. Small animation. Open the map. Press the marked icon to see a new place. Okay, I'm going to go here. It's a few additional buttons. Codex tutorial. And this tutorial is rather empty, but will contain descriptions of all the game's characters and more. Just like the mouse wheel. Okay. Help you save and load the game quickly. The game uses autosaves, and you can open the manual. Okay, yada yada yada. Press F1 to learn more about the keyboard controls. I don't know if I needed all this tutorialization for a visual novel. Like, those are pretty self-explanatory. But, you know what, I respect it. Okay, anyways. We're going to go to the Huntress, I suppose, because that is the character that we have unlocked currently. Last evening. All right, I'm going to grab a glass of water because I'm going to be reading a lot, and my voice is going to get tired. All right, since when do you have this many patrons, Stabs? The barkeeper's name is Stabs? That does not feel like a safe bar to me. The news of Venna's deeds have reached the city. Merchants want to hire her. Deeds? I don't recall. But I told you already, she... With a loud... Bunch? What a loud bunch. I think I'll take the bottle back home. Stabulous. What else is new, ma'am? Having Stabs our village is Right's blessing. And full of ideas for silly meals and drinks, so I spent every evening as in the Tasty Claw. I thought this was me, the mean old lady. It's been an hour since you joined the merchants at the table, keeping your back straight. So, for so long starts to wear on you, but you were told only to speak when spoken to. You observe the others, but you can't follow their prattle. Something about a missing ship from the Far East, a new spice that everyone just needs to try. Do you spice? I know that's a reference from... I'm getting old. Critical Role. There we go. Oh, old age. It's not pretty. You know, this video is going to go up without edits, so you'll see all my elderly, feeble things. Anyways, you observe the others, but you can't follow their prattle. Okay, something. They summarize how you defeated those trolls last autumn, right at the start, but since they're pretty much been ignoring you, rather hang out with my friends. The longer I'm here, the easier it's going to get. Well, it's fine. These are getting used to everything, but it would kill them and talk about something other than money, so they know how. Oh, it's El Bulbo. I don't know. It's Rich, the kid of rich spice merchants. His assistants handle work for him back at the city while he enjoys his new effortless life. Values peace more than dragons. I guess that's money. Dragons is gold. You cast a glance at your dad, who manages to stay in control as always. Why can't you be that confident? I'd prefer some cider. And you couldn't say so sooner? You'd better learn how to speak for yourself before you reach the city. Alehouses, mead, spices, music, after fancy clothes, bright nights, and it's a different world. Don't encourage her. It's better to drink crappy beer than just insult a merchant. She's just being polite, a Volvo. The girl has potential, Latro. She follows your footsteps. So a lot of... Okay, so this is just a general storytelling gotcha. You account for this a little bit by having these descriptions, but there are a lot of different main or named characters being introduced in the first few minutes of this story. And whenever you know, usually in a narrative focused story, the highest, so it's, you don't always have to do it, right? But the highest probability of success, or like the highest approach that will get you the most general audience approval, is starting with a smaller scene, one or two characters, both, you know, you're not introducing those. We just met the whole town. Like, you know, it's going to be really hard for someone to remember all that. And like, yes, you cover that with like the little glossary that's on pop-up. But again, I would consider adjusting that. Just saying, hey, let's start with an event that's a little narrower, has some conflict, before we get into, you know, a much more, you know, meeting the whole town scenario. And it's usually like introducing characters, one of the hardest things in writing. It's very difficult. There's lots of tricks to do to make it last. Like, you know, give them, you know, something really in character to say or do the first moment you meet them, stuff like that. So like, kind words, we use focus for a hunter who can match her talent. She's not even 20. So like, that's exposition delivering about me, the protagonist. But that first line of this character Latro, or her dad, you know, again, I like that her dad is defending her as his first action, but again, it's a little too expository. I kind of want to get a chunk of like, is this dad, like, their personality? Are they brave? Are they a braggart? Do they brag a lot? You know, what are those character traits that are going to pull me forward into the story? She's not even 20. Leading the trolls into the swamp was quite a plan. Our fable put together a song about her bravery. I've been drifting apart. Used to spend a lot of time together as kids. We always had some scary stories. Okay, so he's like a storyteller. Our fable. You're going quite comfortable with your new ham. Maybe in a way. Let's not jump ahead. Nothing's been decided yet. It's a great opportunity. Don't you want to leave the nest, darling? I don't know. I feel good in Winnie Meadow. I don't know. Argentina knows the details. From what I've heard, the guild is in Beatrice. Always a job for her. What kind of job you start as a ground? Learn more about the city. Become my personal blender. Prove yourself, and once I get the chance, I'll whisper your name to larger players. All you need is strength and ambition. Keep going the extra mile, and you end up a commander. Overseeing caravans. Money, money, money. You could work for a road warden for a year or 5 too. A life of wealth and adventure, then a quick retirement, especially where to join the guild as an investor. You can see such a life has treated us fairly well. Don't tell me it's not a tempting opportunity. I heard living in the city can be rough. City available moved here to rest from the noise and the stomach, and he's rich. I love the character art. So if what's up, Greens? Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. How's it going? So to the developer of this game, I'm working on a story similar to this. If you feel inspired, I would love to use some of your character art in my project. So it's up to you. No big deal. But it's tough to come by, and right now we don't have a very good setup. Tasty Crow's in my favorite inn. Okay, slow in the daytime. Rainfall's return. Okay, so there's return. Why was it highlighting something though? Okay. I'm the exception, not the rule. If I were in your position, I'd only refuse. I'd also hide my spear in the basement. I'd rather be a farmer. But I already had a life of... So again, there's a lot of exposition about Evolo. It's not really a super likable character. Have you ever read Roger Zelansky? No. Zelandy? No, I have not. I should. Should I? Should I have? Must I? Shall I? I'm open. But again, we're getting a lot of exposition, and we're also spending a lot of time with a character that, at least in my experience with this character, he's not the most engaging, right? He's kind of a spoiled rich kid. I get that from his description here. And so it's a little bit less, like, he doesn't, like usually spoiled rich kids in general don't have too many interesting things to share. And this is a conversation that's more around establishing my motives and giving exposition around my motives than any conflict. So that's also going to drain some of the tension. So, just as a player, I'm going to be generally finding myself clicking through these things a little bit faster. Like I was when I was your age. You can handle living in Belarus. Want some Hugos? All right. I will have to check that out. You love my sci-fi. I love my sci-fi fantasy. So, don't be so dramatic. Living in the city is much easier than the countryside. Let them talk. Looks like I won't be traveling in that direction late in the summer. We'll find our final answer. We'll use a ferry boat or a cart. I have yet to decide. Be sure to have a space for a passenger. Don't worry. Okay, so kind of wrapping up the combo there. Day one. Again, one thing as a developer that I would encourage is tracking how far into the story a player gets before they, either back up or stop playing or into session. Like this is really the best part about writing in games, is that you have data about what your readers are doing. How far are they getting? When are they clicking really fast? When are they clicking slower? When are they reading everything? That's really, really valuable information. And stuff that even I have to work on with my project. So don't feel too bad. We're all there. I'm a patient soul. We're going to discuss here, but usually the things that I've found in choice-based narratives that usually are pretty consistently important is having a choice every 3 to 5 taps or clicks. Every 3 to 5 taps or clicks, there should be something I can interact with, something I can engage with. And then usually cutting the first bit of the scene and the last bit of the scene. Same with all writing, but making sure you start at the moment where conflict is happening, where it's interesting, and then you end right as it's resolved. You don't linger as long as you think you're going to need to linger. It's very similar to film. I'm a patient soul, but discuss your future funeral dinner. I don't know what I want. You don't need to know to make a good choice. Let him continue. Okay. Just like the one I taught you. You're not as awkward. Let's have a talking about the scavengers. The runners will catch us on soon. Yes, it's so quiet here. Maybe spring, but it could be a few larger beasts. You want to stay here for long? I've got plans this evening. Okay, so I'm going to check the map. It's going to tell me about where I am, is why it was highlighted. The woods east turn dangerous quickly, and for the most part, only me and my dad have a reason to enter them. Recently, the jump jacks. Okay. Wait till you're too busy. Caught your attention. I always listen to you. First days of autumn. That's when old Salvia. She's a wise, selfless herbalist. They never stopped their hunt and turned the land into the wasteland. I'm glad you remember. Okay, don't get me wrong, but now I've grown convinced. They've changed the forest last year, so I'm starting to click faster, right? I think we're getting a lot of catch-up exposition. So you're saying, oh, there's trolls, they destroy things. But remember that you can get all that information about trolls to me by having a troll, even if it's dead and it's not part of the scene, surrounded by wreckage, like ruined trees, stuff like that. And I'll get it. Like, okay, this troll did all this damage and, was thankfully stopped before he reached town, right? I feel like you need a lot of that data to be able to trust it. True, true. But, even, that's the thing. But before you have a statistically significant model, right? Like, in order to have really, really proven variance of what is performing and what's not, you can still get some good gut checks by just looking at the raw information. Gaming isn't reading, it's hard to analyze audience actions when they're reading the game as a whole. True. I mean, but this is essentially a story. Like this is reading like a story, just very fast page switches, right? Like each line of dialogue is on its own click page. These are more hares around. By the larger creatures, you either caught or chased away the trolls, while fewer beasts, more rats and birds, and lion most told me there are more fish in this stream. Okay, everything connects. You know where I'm going with this. Just tell me. We'll leave the animals, let them breed on our ground. Forest needs some new breath. What about our forest garden? Should we open it to predators? I had a talk. We'll limit ourselves to startling them instead of killing them. The garden is crucial for us, more important than any wild game, but we can't. A good hunter can do many things, so I have a special forest garden. That's cool. We're gonna be fine. There's no more obstacles. Not enough loitering around. Let's pull out our boar while it's still sunny. Ropes or trees stopping boar from falling. Push you out. You have to fight for every inch. Okay. It's heavy. Language still. It's a muscle. Find beast to end our current path. Yeah, I try to avoid. I will skip over the swear words just because reading it aloud. But viewer beware. There seems to be swear words in the story. Gaming isn't reading. It's hard to analyze. Okay, I'm caught up with chat. Well, it tastes good after smoking. Ain't sure. Boar meat can be treacherous. Of course. Pray to the white. Glad that when talks to priest, but I struggle to pray. Whenever I close my eyes, I think of Victus and Mara and Mom. Give the walls. I like that we get some personal interiority. I think this is like a really smart way to do interiority in games. Like when, because interiority gives you that extra bit of context if you want it. And the fact that it's optional here is great. I think this is awesome. Like the fact that praise be to the white, like, you do that a lot in novels and writing where you reference something that, that's named in the world. And we assume it's like a religious thing because he's praying. But then if I want the main character's thoughts on it, I love that this is kind of what, this is written like interiority in first person. Whenever I close my eyes, I think of Victus, Imera, and Mom. Okay. Help her spread your meats wisely to our family. Okay. Bates, play along. I mean, what if I mean it? So, what if I want to do? Okay, we're doing a great job. Head back home, take a look here. A smooth stick with blood on its end. It's a spear. Goblin found a thin branch. Okay, so I came here to stab the boar. Goblins found the boar after it fell in the hole. They tried to stab it, stick around. The grass here is trampled. I see no footprints. I'm proud of you, little wolf. You'll do just fine in the city. So I'm learning so much about this area, but if I'm going to the city, it's hard for me to wonder how relevant it's going to be. So we got the boar. It's like a scourge game we taught. Good, okay, Dad used because Mom was at his sides. She hit a charging beast right in the eye. She'll show when she starts walking again. Yeah. Just marks and footprints. They're big, cunning monkeys. Could they be lured in a trap? Will you scare them away? He's got a plan. Will you get rid of them before you leave us? I'm not leaving you. I'll visit. Me too. I'll say nothing. Better fight of the most folks. A spear woman, a spear girl, maybe. Still ain't Your call. Dad or Lacerta will ask you once they need your help. But I'm ready to fight and need a chance to prove it. Gotta listen to Dad. Hurts to wait, but patience is the strongest weapon. I do wish there was some notification on if I'm making a important choice. I think that's one of the fun things about the Tales games is they say, so-and-so will remember this. I think that adds a little bit of weight to what you're doing or what you're deciding. Happy for you, You've got this job offer. You're going to be rich. I'm going to be rich. Wendy Meadow, it's always the same oats and cider. I'd like to have a taste of the city for a season or two, but spend years there? I don't know. Okay, I'm having mixed feelings about the city, and off I go. I kind of want to get to the meat of the story. Right now, we have not hit a scene with conflict, which I think is probably the most literarily concerning thing so far. Is, I'm 20 minutes into this game, and almost all the conversations have been expository, right? Where they're referencing things to catch me up as the reader. Like, hey, you're going to the city. Don't forget, you're going to the city. The city's great. Or how do you feel about going to the city? And while that's valuable, you probably don't need as much as you have. Like, I would really consider drastically trimming down that intro bit, because I gotta have a uncertain outcome, a conflict I'm curious to see how it'll resolve, and I don't know. A true uncertain outcome has to be established with stakes before your reader will really have the investment to want to understand all the context in the exposition. I don't think that's happening here. We kind of have a very soft, uncertain outcome about this character going to the city and what that would mean for them, but it's very vague and it's very internal, right? Like, I'm not worried about this person's life in the city. I'm just like, oh, well, they fit in and make friends. Like, that's valuable, but it's not, I don't think, enough quite yet. Well, I just opened the door. I ain't a recruit. Just want to argue with us after you drop your helmet in the river. Answer the door before we... Something wrong? We should talk. Tell me you don't need to look for that last ring again. Our dad, we're in Latra's name, examining the forest. We got time. Vena and Hosta, expect the mayor has briefed you already. I don't know if this is all narrative. I remember this game seemed to suggest there was some battle elements, but maybe it is all narrative. Ever fought a chime of goblins? Maybe the battles are narrative? I'm kind of curious. Your father and your brother. I could have just misunderstood. It is a bit busy. Priest Vates. Mean paid lumberjacks, hardly enough. We got fire, nothing else. Go to wish, but prepare. Alright, I'm going to kind of zoom ahead a little bit faster. To see if we can get to some conflict. Or just something. And I've got a choice. I like that animation. Great. All my friends or anything. They said I could join them once they head back to the city. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm happy where I am. Getting noticed was nice. Sure it was. Well, it's getting later. See you soon. Bye. Father's waiting for you. Goblins. Okay. At least 30. I want to fight some goblins. We also had work, let it slide. So be it. Can't know your place. Calm down. I like that neck beard, man. That is a true neck beard. That is what neckbeards aspire to be. Did she help us? Told me that herbalist ran out of stuff. Grateful for your prayers. That is right. It's a company wouldn't hurt. Sure. She helped Mom a lot. Let's go talk to them. Finally, some good news. Bring back your daughter. Lumberjack's dad. Listen to him. What if we need his help? Yeah, my dad is a goose. If he thinks he's going to take on a goblin horde together. Silence, all of you. As little my parents' kids, I guess it's my home. Gotta go. What did it say in the healers? It's gonna be said enough already, but Dad, leave this to the adults. Go to your mother. I like that there's some family conflict, and I like that I actually had a choice within that conflict. But this comes really late in the playthrough, and I think that is something to investigate. Is like how much of that early stuff can we cut? I like, this is actually I am starting to read now, right? Because there is an uncertain situation. I just kind of betrayed my dad and said that he's not as strong. He probably feels like he's not as strong as he's been pretending. Don't talk to us like that. Hope you see that you made a mistake. Fine, I'll go. Oh, I trust you. Do what's right. Time for us to head in, sis. Hanging out with the older folks for a change. Not the first time this happened. Easier to mature in the countryside. Okay, color, swing a hammer, advice to youngsters. Not the first time this happens. Younger neighbors are at work. Take a sip. Okay, the goblins. So this is like the interior thoughts. Look at limbs. Good at hunting. Alright. I might go ahead and call it here on this game. I'm not seeing that I'm going to get to a big swing moment, I don't think, in time. Work for the merchants together. Okay, well, maybe here's a choice. Oh, this is just like what I would rather do. Travel. Oops. I would say that it is... You should make the choice clicking sometimes, like, you know, if I'm clicking fast, you should like limit the ability to accidentally just auto click a choice, but it is what it is. Day 3. Okay. But yeah, what are my thoughts? I think this is a cool game. I think it does a lot of smart things, right? Like, I think the interiority on the hot, on the keywords, right? We're saying, oh, the white. Not just saying, hey, it's the deity in this land in a very narrative tone, but actually having the character give a first-person account is really smart. I think that's really, really bright. A great approach if you have a lot of things to define in a game. I think that was very well done. In terms of the narrative, I like the flow of it. I'm not as much of a solo visual novel fan. Actually, probably it's on me, right? So I didn't realize that there was only the visual novel aspect and not a mechanical aspect, right? Or like battles. For some reason, I thought there were battles in this too. That's okay. So again, my views might not be fully accurate. I'm not a huge visual novel person. I like to read pages of text more than I like to read little blocks of it. And when I do read little like back and forthy things, then I want them to be pretty quick and I want them to get to the point fast. And this is something I struggle with in my game. I mean, honestly, writer, if you're like, Jeff, curse you, totally fine. But, you can play my game and see I struggle with a lot of the same challenges. And we use a visual novel style format, though it's not my favorite. It is kind of the easiest one, right, in a lot of ways to produce. So yeah, I think this game has a lot going for it. I like the vibe of it. The art is amazing. Like the pixel art's fantastic. It has just this warm vibe. The detailed pixel art's really great. And I think the UI is super strong. Like the way this is laid out, the way the UI is executed, really, really seamless. Don't think you need a tutorial. I think anybody that's played a visual novel before will gather what was explained in the tutorial, right? That, hey, there's keywords that will highlight with more details. You can click on stuff to dismiss it. That type of stuff. I don't know if, like you need a strong recommendation to play the tutorial, if it is mainly focused on the visual novel side of it, because that's a pretty defined genre. Like everyone knows you click to progress and those types of things. But yeah, overall, I think this is a really cool project. I think you have a lot to be proud of. I think the art is just off the walls good. It's beautiful. Which is, pixel art's doesn't always, ring the bell for everybody, right? So I think you have a lot to be proud of here. I do think when it comes to the narrative, though, I would really lean at reducing exposition until there is uncertainty, until there is some sort of uncertain outcome to a scene, not just your overall plot situation, but that scene needs to have an uncertain outcome before with stakes. Like, oh, if it goes bad, it's going to be bad for everybody. Like the family scene, I think did that best, right? Where the dad gets mad, and I don't know if that person's going to like kick the kids out of the house or what they're going to do. That was really, really valuable. Bringing that early into the story or trimming some of the things that precede that might be a really good idea. But yeah, overall, I think this is a cool project. I would definitely recommend it to folks that like visual novels, and I think this has a lot of thought, and you can definitely feel the thought, the care, and the effort put into this. And so yeah, I'd say well done. Keep up the great work, and I hope some of my thoughts on the narrative side help you as you continue to edit, revise, and do cool stuff. So great job, and have a nice night.